Let's go. This is going to be a very, very interesting time. Let's go. Let's go. I'm going to pause and go on live here. 1 second. It's about to get very, very, very interesting. Whoop. First off, how's everyone doing today? How's everybody doing today? We're gonna do a late night stream here. I might go live again tomorrow. We'll see. But I just want to. We got a lot going on today, so I just want to go over some stuff here. There's so much going on right now. It's kind of crazy. Hope everyone's having a great night. I'm gonna just let people jump in. One second here. We're gonna go over the Roaring Kitty. They're trying to kick him out of a brokerage here, which there's so much behind that reasoning, which is gonna make it very interesting. I feel like he has this back end bombshell that he's putting off for these guys. That's actually a very smart move. So we'll get started here in 1 second. Sorry for everyone trying to go to sleep, but man, there's a lot of cool things going on right now, and I got to give Roaring Kitty here a lot of credit. Like I said, this is pretty damn smart what he's doing right now, especially with the swaps rolling around and stuff. All right, we got enough people. Let's go ahead and let's start here. So, if you guys didn't hear today, Keith Gill on Twitter, he posted an Uno card. GameStop stock flew, and he posted his position. We're going to go over his position here in a second. This is his end of day position, so he actually made like $85 million just on today alone once again, and once again he re-put it into growing his position in GameStop. So he's getting around that, almost under that 5% mark, which, dude, that's pretty insane. It's gonna be insane when he exercise these calls and everything. He should have had around 17 million. I mean, he should be up to about 18, 19 million now at this point. So this guy's putting his money where his mouth is. I'll give him that. Like, man, if I had that kind of bankroll, a lot of people are sitting here talking about, how is this, does this guy have an institution backing him? Does this guy have, how does he have this much money? Whereas, here's the thing. If he made 51 million on the first run up on GameStop and then he disappeared for 3 years, no one has any idea what the man's been doing. We have no idea what you think that GameStop was the only stock that he saw, he could make profits on. So to me, this more than anything shows that actually is him. So a lot of people are talking about, is his account hacked, blah, 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 all of that stuff. And obviously, if his account was hacked, you wouldn't be having this problem. But one of the things that he's doing right now, I mean, this is creating a massive bombshell, because if you guys remember, so E-Trade right now is freaking out. E-Trade doesn't want the smoke, is what I kept saying on Twitter, because they don't want to have any part of this right now. So they're talking right now about kicking him off. If you guys read this, or actually considering him, to ban him from the platform. Now, other trading platforms, of course, took that opportunity to come be like, hey, you can come over here, Public being one. But, and Public, I just want people to be aware, Public, they do not use payment for order flow, but they do use Market Center. So that's one thing I did want to, Dave Lauer posted on that, and I did want to make sure. I wish he would have answered my question to see if he agreed with my theory. Murphy, come on, baby, you just went outside. But like I said, so right now you got E-Trade, and they're over here in Morgan Stanley. They're basically talking about kicking him out. You have investigation going on right now. Once again, SEC is looking into Keith Gill. They're looking into his tweet, market manipulation, same crap, same dance as last time. Well, once again, he's putting all of these positions in, and now with the CAT system going live, this is why it's a big deal. Because one of the things that I just talked about over the last couple weeks, the CAT system now has a broker ID and it has a customer ID. Now, one of the things that's happening is now that you have the SEC announcing we are doing an investigation. I want you guys to listen to this, because what Keith did here is insanely fucking smart. And I mean, this was fucking, dude, a huge move. So, you got E-Trade over here. Now the SEC's announcing, we're looking into this, we're doing an investigation. Now they're sitting there freaking out. Hey, we don't want... Listen to this, because like I said, this is massive. We don't want the smoke. because we're going to be liable. Now, if you guys remember, for like 3-4 last 5 months, I've been like, dude, we should all band together. I don't care what stock you have. We all need to unite, and we need to sue our brokers. Okay? Because look at this. Because this all ties together, and this is all massive, what he did with the CAT system. So, if you look over here, remember before when I talked about this lawsuit, and I said, guys, we need to fucking band together, and we need to sue the fucking brokers. If you guys want to win, we're not going to beat Citadel, but if we band together, if we fucking band together, we can sue our brokers, which will lead to discovery. Now, this is why I said this was so important, because let's say we sue our broker. This would lead to discovery. Now that you have discovery, you could go in, you could see what Citadel did with the shares that you bought from the from your broker, okay? So now you would have concrete evidence after you beat your broker in a lawsuit. You would have concrete evidence to go after Citadel, because now you have evidence because you would have had discovery during this phase. And then you could have went after Citadel next. Hey, you've been fucking doing this and it's manipulating our orders, blah, blah, blah. We could have sued him. And this is why I told everyone, it is such a massive, massive, massive deal that if we got together and did that, it would have been our atom bomb. It would have killed them. But you know, nobody can ever come together. Everybody, you got your elitists, and nobody ever wants to look at the bigger picture. Everyone just wants everyone to buy the stock they're in. But if you read this, broker-dealers can be held primarily liable for failing to fulfill their gatekeeping responsibilities of monitoring their clients' trading activities, which means if, let's say you're in Robinhood, for some reason everyone likes to fucking Robinhood. Let's say you're in Robinhood. What Robinhood does is they do payment for order flow, which means that they send your order right over to Citadel, okay? So now if everybody would have got together and sued Robinhood, and then they would have got discovery through Citadel from the Robinhood lawsuit, you guys, like I said, it would have been a huge bomb. Well, if you guys come over here, this talks about they're supposed to be gatekeepers. So if any of these things are, if anything is, anytime they fill an order, they're responsible for selling it to a client, which is a market maker. They're responsible for if that market maker does fraudulent activities with that order. That's exactly what this says. They will be responsible. So again, that's a huge deal. Now, why does that matter? This is huge because, okay, why does that matter? That puts E-Trade liable right now for Keith Gill's orders. Okay, now think about this. I want you to listen to this because this is huge. If E-Trade send in their orders over to Citadel or whoever and all this, and now Citadel's going to fill all this, or whoever's going to fill these orders. This is why these contracts are such a big deal. And this is why it's such a big deal that he starts to exercise these contracts, because when he exercises these contracts, the SEC, which is currently doing an investigation into this exact process, is now going to watch. Listen to this. The SEC is now going to watch exactly how those shares are filled. Who went out and bought them? Who filled that order? Who sent it to the broker? The CAT system, like I just told you. On the 31st, the CAT system did what? It added customer ID and it added broker ID. So they now are going to look straight into that and look straight for the customer or the broker ID of E-Trade. And they're going to call up E-Trade. They're going to say, what is your customer ID for Keith Gill? What is your ID for him? And now they're going to see his customer ID. And now they're going to be watching this because they're doing an investigation in this process right now. And now E-Trade's over here going, we're fucking liable. We're liable if this goes south. Does this start to make sense? Now he's turning a broker against a market maker, because now they're liable if suddenly the SEC is looking over and they're watching these, because now they can see exactly who fills them. They can see Citadel filled them, then they're going to look over at Citadel. Well, how'd you fill them? Where did you get them from? Did you internalize those orders? Did you have enough shares to internalize those orders at the time? Or are you doing manipulation tactics? They're looking at this, and now all of a sudden they're like, well, holy fuck, we could be liable. We might want to kick this guy off. Because if this keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and eventually they do call it market manipulation, we're fucked. So now Keith Gill is becoming a risk to brokers. I'm just looking at the chat. I'm just seeing if everybody does everybody understand what I'm talking? Does everybody get what I just went over here? So what he did is he now made E-Trade liable because the CAT system can now track exactly how those all these contracts that are going to be exercised. There's a reason why he showed this amount of money, because he's showing you he's got the money. He's going to exercise calls. He's going to exercise calls. He's going to exercise calls. They're going to keep needing to gain these shares. Where are they getting them from? The CAT system will know every single thing about it. So again, he pretty much turned the market maker against the broker. Okay, so now let's keep going. That's kind of what I went over here. So if he attaches it, if he exercises these contracts, they're fucked. So now let's keep going. One of the other things that I talked about, because this is huge if you guys start looking over with the CAT system as well, because this also goes into his what he's doing. If he's attacking them on one side and retail's buying on the other, it's just like over here with AMC. The first time that the CAT system with the customer ID went live and the broker ID went live, look what happened the very first day. New York Stock Exchange order imbalance of AMC for over 1,200,000 shares. This is the highest order imbalance I've ever seen in my life. That's insanity. They had over 1 million buy orders, and they didn't have the shares to fill them. Usually, this is supposed to be resolved at the end of the day, where they went and solved it. I don't know, because the price didn't do it. So again, they used to be able to do their fuckery, their chicanery type bullshit, and they used to be able to get away with some of these shares. They'd be able to get away with these order imbalances. They'd be able to process this over here, this over here, this over here, and now they're all getting caught red-handed. So now, what do order imbalances lead to? Order imbalances lead to FTDs. And this is exactly what I said was going to start happening the very first second you see the CAT system go live. Order imbalances into FTDs. Into FTDs. These are fucking huge order imbalances. I should have looked today what the order imbalances was for today. I didn't look at it yet. You're going to continuously see this pattern. You're going to see FTDs rising. Now you're going to see FTDs rising over in GameStop. So this is another thing he basically is trapping these guys in the GameStop short. Now, here's one thing that's hilarious. So you look over here. Hold on one second. Let me pull this up quick. I made fun of him. Hold on, I made fun of him. What did I say to that guy? I think it was oh, here you go. Okay. So this guy is an idiot. He got destroyed on the first. These guys are whining. Now, if you guys haven't been watching Twitter at all today, I mean, it's literally every single person in media, every single person in business, every single big account that has a fucking check mark is whining right now about Roaring Kitty. They want them all to be investigated. This guy is a short seller. This guy is short on GameStop. He's literally short on GameStop. Well, he's sitting here bitching and whining about, well, it made sense the first time, but now it's market manipulation. All of them are whining market manipulation. And somebody's got you fucking cornered. Somebody has you cornered. When you, who lives off your life is built around market manipulation. Your entire job is to wake up and manipulate the market and fuck retail. If that's your job every single day, and that's your job, and you're whining about one retail guy fucking, and everybody wants to, well, you still consider him retail? Yeah, I consider him a fucking whale. I consider him a retail whale. Does he have an investment firm? Yes, he's a retail whale. if they're calling this one person in retail a manipulator and whining about it because they know, like I said, that to me at this point, it's like, how would you go after Keith Gill at this point and say that he's manipulating the market when you have people like Kramer, who literally every single day say buy and sell? He literally says the words buy and sell. Keith Gill didn't say anything. He put a fucking Uno card up. He put a fucking reverse Uno card up. That could mean anything. You know what I mean? So how are you going to go after him with that when you got your own little mob henchman guy? So this loser right here, he's actually short on GameStop. Oh, it's funny. It's if you read this, federal agents reportedly raided the home of the founder, Andrew Left, last year as part of a sweeping investigation into wrong alleged doing by short selling. And he's going to get slammed again because this dude's a fucking idiot. So again, these guys that are complaining, whining, bitching when their life revolves around fucking over retail by manipulating prices and markets, this is absolutely hilarious. So you know this dude's got him, like I said, by the balls. So you're going to see FTDs spiking, and the key about this is once these FTDs start spiking, and this is what I've been saying the whole time, when the FTDs start spiking, the SEC now is going to see how are they filling them. And if they're passing them along, even if they're doing through contracts, if they're resetting them, then they're still going to see a transaction of it being reset in the background. So they're still going to be able to track this and track this and track this. So they're going to see these FTDs and they're going to see, well, what happened to them? Where did they go? If they got filled, if they just poof, mysteriously disappear and get passed along, okay, well, there's got to be a transaction somewhere. It's pretty easy and obvious now for them to go and look. So again, dude, FTDs are going to spike. You're going to see daily order imbalances, very large numbers. Even if, and one of the things people kept asking me about was if they do dark pool orders, can they see the dark pool? Can they track those? Yes, the cat tracks all of that. It knows exactly. It's called a venue ID. So when the one of the categories on the cat system is called venue ID, and it says exactly what dark pool it went to, what ATS it went to. It'll tell you exactly if it was internalized, who internalized it. It will tell them every single path. It'll tell them if it went to a lit exchange, if it went to another market maker. It will tell them the venue that it took the second that it went to go get filled. So they know every single dark pool trade as well. So once again, you're going to start seeing these order imbalances. Like I said, these are going to be huge, huge FTDs spiking, and I don't know what these guys are going to start doing. But one of the things, well, and on top of that, like I said, all this guy did was post his own position. People on Reddit do this daily. So again, I don't know what they're going to try and get him to do with market manipulation. But at the end of the day, if you're in GameStop right now, I mean, it's going to be a hell of a ride going forward. It really is. Obviously, if this dude's going to keep upping his position, that's the thing. You never know when this guy, I mean, to me, I just feel like Keith's going to keep it going. At this point, he's so fucking rich at this point, I don't think he cares. If he was in this here's the thing to me. When you have this much fucking money in one play and you can walk away, is it really worth the money to him at that point, or is it more worth a message? I don't think he's going anywhere any fucking time soon. So, I mean, if you're in GameStop, you got a whale here over here for quite a while. I mean, a lot of people are sitting there, oh, he's dumping on retail. He's dumping on retail. Well, he's also rebuying back in. He's selling his profits on fucking calls and buying shares and then getting more calls. So, like I said, it's going to be very interesting going forward. People, like I said, every one of these guys in GameStop shorting it, fucking whining. I've had a position, like I said, I've had a position last time he went up. I mean, I don't have a giant one, but if it flies up, I'm going to be happy as fuck. I'm going to definitely be feeling good. So, again, I got to disclose that, but yeah, I do have a position in GameStop, so let's go. Let's see what happens here. I'm going to ride this shit with you guys. I'm going to ride it with him too. Fuck it. Same, like I said, same exact thing going on in both those companies. And as long as you got Roaring Kitty doing these. If you can, there's obviously plenty of ways to play this. You can obviously play. I'm not gonna say. Never mind. I'm not gonna tell you guys some place. I'm gonna move on before I get in trouble with any of that stuff. So let's move on. But the very next thing I want to talk about is super interesting. I always told you guys before we win, these guys rich are gonna start eating the rich. They're gonna turn on each other. And today, I'm gonna do a whole bunch of more research tomorrow, right when I get up. I didn't have enough time tonight, but I just saw this. So here's the link to the article. I'm gonna go ahead and post this for everybody so you guys can go ahead and read this. I just posted that in the chat for you guys. It talks about the Bill Hwang case. And if you guys don't know, he's your Archegos guy. Now, this dude, I always told you guys a family office would be the thing that came in and destroyed everything. And I thought that when he came out, I thought he was going to be the one, to be honest with you, because Jesus, like I said, it's like it just took one is what I would thought, because these guys were so intertwined. And the problem is they're unregulated and nobody knows their positions. They don't have to fill out 13Fs. They don't have to disclose anything. Family offices are a fucking joke. And the thing about family offices is you don't really go into a family office unless you've been in trouble so much that you're having problems in the regulatory market. So usually it's the corrupt bad players that are in family offices. If they're getting, like I said, if you get kicked out, you just make a family office, you're good to go. You just deregulate. So if you get in trouble too much, you just deregulate. So that gives you the idea of people that are owners of family offices. They're usually just rich pieces of shit. So one of the things on why I'm actually talking about this is this actually talks about Citadel. And it's very interesting because it sounds like Bill Hwang was an attack by Citadel. It sounds like they actually went after him. Now, if you guys read this thing, I have a paywall, so I can't go down. But Kristen, she is a reporter. This is the only reporter that I listen to. This is the only person that I listen to. I love her account. If you guys want information, a ton of very good information, she puts up tons of good information. This is one of my main accounts that I follow. So, like I said, look at what she's doing. She has tons of good information. So, but anyways, so she was the ones posting on this, and she always quotes articles, which is what I like, because she always quotes the most important part. So if you don't want to deal with a paywall, you don't want to deal with the bullshit, she'll pop it out there for you. So again, highly recommend following her if you're on Twitter. But again, this talks about the investigation goes on, and one of the things that he's doing now is part of his defense in the trial is he's bringing up, guess who, guys? Morgan Stanley, who owns E-Trade. Well, he's bringing up the Morgan Stanley block trading. They had a block trading leak back in the day, and they already paid a fine for it. So here we go. He's using that as part of his defense. Morgan Stanley agreed to pay $249 million to the Department of Justice and the SEC. The probe faulted Morgan Stanley for giving hedge funds advance warning of clients' planned sells. So basically, they were feeding their clients insider information about what their people wanted to do ahead of time, and they were betting against their own people. Super fucked up. Okay. With expectations that hedge funds would short the stocks and position themselves to buy parts of the block once it hit the market. So basically, they knew their people were gonna do it. They'd open a giant position, short it down, buy the block at a cheaper price. Boom. Again, pieces of shit. They were betting against their own people. Well, one of the things that this talks about in the bottom of the article, listen to this. Hwang's lawyer also cites a call recording produced by the prosecution, okay, that was obtained from Morgan Stanley investigation, where an executive at Citadel tells Morgan Stanley, you took out Bill Hwang with the Viacom. The Morgan Stanley executive replied, yeah. So it sounds like it was an attack by Morgan Stanley on Bill Hwang and Citadel. So once again, these guys went after Bill, for whatever reason, I'm going to look into Bill Hwang and Citadel a lot more. I'm going to look at him and Morgan Stanley, see if I can't find tons of, links, see why they would go after little Billy Boy here. Maybe they saw my video and I said, maybe when they saw I was saying Billy in the video, they thought I meant Bill Hwang and they went after Billy Boy, but he was not the Bill that was in the hospital. But no, I'm not sure why, but it looks like they went after him. So it looks like Morgan Stanley took out Bill Hwang with a Viacom. Now, this next couple parts are pretty important here. So I posted this last night. If you're following me, I posted it on my YouTube here, and I posted it on Twitter as well. 517 billion in unrealized losses hit U.S. banking system. FDIC says 63 lenders on brink of insolvency. 63 lenders are on the brink of insolvency. Like I said, guys, this is just a matter of time, especially with this commercial real estate bomb coming at them. The commercial real estate bomb, again, is over 929 billion. This is just a portion coming at them as well. On top, like I said, these unrealized losses along with the higher interest rates. The problem is the interest rates I've already shown you. Interest rates, once again, are going to go up, not down. So these unrealized losses are actually going to go up, and eventually they're going to start to be realized losses. So, unrealized losses available for sale held to maturity increased by 39 billion in the first quarter. So these are going to just keep flying and flying and flying because, once again, everything's going up. They're having all these problems. Rates are not going anywhere. It sounds like the feds are kind of slowing down on QT. So at that point, they're not looking good. But you have 63 lenders. Now, if we had 63 banks, once again, this will be one of the biggest banking crises we've ever seen. And on top of that, it will crush everything because the FDIC is already fucked. They're still not fully, recouped from the last time. They still had all those big banks put in more money, but it's not going to be enough. They can't handle 63. I showed you last time that now they have 40% of the exposure to the big banks from commercial real estate through middle-sized banks, and that's exactly what I was talking about. These guys still went out and did contracts with these big banks to back these loans on these buildings. So if any of these regional banks and these medium-sized banks go down, these bigger banks are still going to take a massive hit. But now, lending, and this is what I was wanting us to see before we would get a MOAS. Before MOAS was actually a reality, before it was more than just typing on Reddit, you needed to see the head of the snake go down. And I've said this for 3 years. I don't care what we try to do, they'll change the rules, and they did. They did it every fucking time. Or they just implemented 37 halts in one day. They did whatever they needed to do to stall. What we needed was a bomb on the outside that would take out the lenders, that would take out the snake, which is the head of the snake has always been the banks. That's why I've been for 3 years preaching to you guys. I don't care what you do. The number one thing you can do to fight against these guys is get the fuck out of these banks in every aspect of your life. If you can get out of these banks, go into a small mom and pop shop bank, go into a credit union, but make sure, again, you do your research on the bank and on the credit union. Don't just go busting in because it says credit union at the top. Walk in there, say, can I talk to a branch manager? It's 30 seconds of your life. It's not going to be that long. All you have to say to them is 3 questions. 1, how do you guys make most of your money? Do you guys, are you guys in commercial real estate? Are you guys, auto loan? What do you guys What do you got? Because that way you know what the risk at is. If they go, yeah, we have we're in commercial real estates, we're in buildings. Well, you probably don't want to go into that one. As I just went over, there's $1 trillion in commercial real estate about to default. Why would you want to go in that one? And it's like if you're going towards like a small where I'm at, there's a small town where I grew up. It's called Rosemount. There's a Rosemount Bank, and you go to the Rosemount Bank and it's literally for people around that area that are just buying houses. It's nothing crazy. They don't go out there. They're not like, they'll do car loans and stuff, but they're not out there buying up fucking buildings and stuff. And oh god, we got to make all this mass profit. I know the family that owns it. So it's like if you're looking at a building type like that or a bank like that, they're not obviously doing any of this crazy nefarious stuff. You're just, but like I said, I always do a little research because, of course, no matter where you go, there's risk. But no matter what, those exact banks, they're not in ISDA. They're not over here fucking around. They're not over here like, if all this kind of explodes, they could go under. If all this shit explodes, it doesn't fucking matter to the small bank over in Rosemount. Why would they give a shit? Unless suddenly all these people in Rosemount had all this stock money in there and they all go default and all these people in that town go under. You know what I mean? Like, that's a stretch, but you know what I'm getting at. You can always pretend, you can always save yourself. Again, it's cutting the head off the top of the snake. Because why? If these hedge funds can sit here and avoid margin calls and keep getting loans and keep getting loans and keep getting this and this and credit and credit and credit, well, guess what? Why would they go under? They're going to keep these. I've already shown you. These banks are going to keep opening contracts because they make fees on it. That's all they give a fuck. We'll make fees and we'll give you blah, blah, blah. And you can, maneuver your exposure right over here for a small fee and we'll hold it for X amount of time for you and blah, 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 blah. And they'll keep opening contracts because as I went over, I thought Phase 6 and I thought ISDA worldwide would give a fuck, but they don't give a shit. Because the number one person in ISDA, the number one person in the World Bank, the main majority control of the World Bank is fucking the United States. The same fuckers who are doing it anyways. So again, I thought Phase 6 mattered, and I didn't do enough research, and I found out that the same fucking banks control the World Banks. Go figure, they're letting it all slip by, because they're fucking pieces of shit. And like I said, the fact that the entire world hasn't just rioted and took over and revolted and fucking took this country back over once we found out what the banking system really fucking is and how they're enslaving us through trillions of dollars in debt. I mean, eventually people are going to wake up, but here you go. But back to this, because this is what I'm getting at with all this. So you got 63 lenders now, which means that these hedge funds, this is less lending available, less credit out there. Making it harder and harder and harder. On top of that, the environment, the United States economy is going down, which again means one thing. Liquidity starts to dry up. And if you guys look over here, liquidity is starting to dry up as feds conduct QT and bank lending slows. Now, if you guys come look down here, it talks about the money supply is actually starting to go down. Well, this talks about how it's going to start to limit assets because liquidity in the U.S. financial markets is starting to dry up, which can make it difficult for stocks and other risky assets to advance from here. So a lot of people are seeing liquidity around lending credit, private credit, also everywhere. It's going down. Everybody's running out. Everybody's been giving bullshit contracts. Everything is fudged up. I showed you even the videos fudged up. They're all on the same fucking hill that is a hill of fool's gold that they're every single one of these people for the last 30,000 years have been faking self-reported numbers. So now that you're having a problem, liquidity's drying up. Everybody can't go ahead and retail. They can't rely on retail because it's not like, think about how I'm sure people, I'm not saying people aren't buying, but compared to what people are buying at the start, people expenses, everything's getting more expensive. It's not like people's raises have been keeping up. It's getting harder to live every single day. Of course, everybody's not being able to buy at the same power that they were. Doesn't mean that, like I said, it doesn't matter because in the end of the day, these commercial real estates and these other factors are going to crush these banks. But you're now seeing liquidity drying up. You're now seeing unrealized loss hitting. You're now seeing banks going to the point of insolvency. You're now seeing the FDIC freaking out because, again, the FDIC can't contain this. They can't save these people. And what are we doing? Again, we're playing hot potato, hot potato, hot potato. Now, this is a very interesting thing. So if you look over here, you have 63 lenders. Well, what just happened today? I posted this earlier. If you guys looked over at the repo market, I thought it was very interesting that today we just happened to have 63 participants. On top of that, you're seeing it's under 400 billion. So you're seeing a small amount of you're seeing the exact amount of participants that are currently on the brink of insolvency, which shows me that the feds are still bailing these banks out through the repo program. Now, if you come down here and look, it actually talks about the reverse repo program down here. It talks about, you know, FDIC, hold on, where are we at? Wrong thing. No, that's report. Okay. I don't know why it's not going down. Where the hell is it? It's down here somewhere. It talks about the reverse repo. Go ahead and post this. It talks about the reverse repo QT all having to become a factor. Well, basically talks about how the reverse repos have been bailing these banks out through this, and it's been a way that they've been adding liquidity. Well, the liquidity is drying up. You're seeing less and less be able to get into the reverse repo market. Now it comes down. Oh, it comes down here. You talk about. Talks about right here. Talks about the reverse repo. How you're having a ton of shrinkage in the reverse repo facility. You're actually seeing it starting to bottom out now. So again, you're just, like I said, I feel like you're just now seeing these banks that they can't, because here's the thing. These banks don't qualify for the discount window. Okay, so these banks don't qualify for the discount window, and they also don't qualify for the secondary lending. They don't qualify for that either. So the only other place that the Federal Reserve can bail these guys out until they can come up with a plan is the reverse repo market. They're going to keep giving them liquidity and giving them, all they're going to say is just park this overnight. Well, what I believe happened is these 63 banks that are on the verge of going under were part of the 63 banks that took money from the bank lending program. So what I believe is the Federal Reserve bailed those banks out, gave them money. Now those banks are now parking that cash back at the Federal Reserve because the Federal Reserve needs the repo market to gain money as well, because they take that cash that was parked overnight and they take it and put it in what is called overnight index funds. And then they go ahead and make money through that. Boom, and then they go ahead and then the next morning put the money back. So again, it's like I'll scratch your back, you scratch my back. So I believe I told you guys there was about $31 billion missing from the reverse, or from the bank lending program. Okay, that should have been repaid back. Where the fuck did it go? They're just letting them get away with it because I believe it's part of these 63 banks that are unable to pay it. And once again, the feds are going to go ahead and keep allowing some bullshit. They'll let a little couple slip this go and this go and this go, because again, if they think that they can't have the crisis happen at once, or they're not going to be able to contain it, they're going to do a little bit, like they're going to do their illegal bullshit. But this is the problem, is now you have 63, and this was just went up from what? It was 37 a while ago. So you're now almost doubled. So if they go ahead and push it off again, what happens if next time you have 122 banks, 122 lenders? Now what's going to happen? And this is my point. They sit there and they'll push it down the road. They kick it down the road. But the problem is you're doubling it. They're fucked. There's no way out of this. They can push it down, but then next time it hits them, it's like quadruple the size. These guys cannot do this forever, because again, the feds can only print so much. Everybody thinks that they'll just print billions and billions. The Federal Reserve right now is operating at 170 billion loss. Even if they went ahead and printed 170 billion to put into the Treasury, that would again instantly smash inflation. It would go flying up because you have printed more money. You're again now the only thing that they're trying to fight right now is inflation, because they know if they don't fight inflation, what's going to happen? All of us who have no money are going to revolt. And that's the only reason they're there, is to control inflation enough to keep people calm. But if they print and print and print, and with all these other things happening, they're not going to be able to control inflation. They need to print and spend that money other places, because they have so many other problems right now. This is the last place that they need to print and throw more money. And again, their spending habits, as we'll get to at the end, is again growing and growing and growing, and these fuckers can't stop spending. So you have liquidity drying up, unrealized losses now becoming realized losses. You're now having banks and lenders on the brink of insolvency, and this is everything I told you was coming in literally these months. And I told you around July and August is when you're going to start to see banks going down, because they cannot control that. And that's when I believe things for us will start to really improve for all retail investors, because I don't think they'll be able to contain it. Now, another thing that you're seeing, once these lenders start to get insolvent, I told you they were running to the shadow banks. They were running to private lending. And I told you guys to start, last week I said, start looking for cracks in private lending. When you start seeing cracks in private lending, because it's the last place to look, you're going to start to get towards your squeeze in your MOS and starting to see collapses. Well, we got our first little squeeze, our first little crack in private lending. Private credit firm 9 Point halts cash payouts on 3 funds. Private lending is now halting. Private lending is now, like I said, you're starting to see some cracks in private lending. This is my next step we've been wanting to see. You're going to start to see more and more private lenders having problems. That's what we want to see, because again, where else are they going to go? If the secondary private shadow banks are broke, if the primary real banks are broke, where do you go next? The only place to go next would be a family office. And then maybe try to hide your exposure through them. But I don't know. I don't know if there's how many of these family offices are out there that can take on billions and billions of extra exposure. I don't think very many. So that's like a quick escape from maybe 1 or 2 guys. It's not anything that, like I said, I don't see. Once private and shadow bank lending's done, I don't know where the fuck they go. So again, this is a huge step forward for us. This is huge for us. This is huge for us. This is big for us. Everything I showed you before with Keith Gill, this is massive. What he's doing single-handedly, fucking them, is amazing, like unbelievable. The mind fuckery that he just pulled off, like, dude, that shit was crazy. Now on top of that, today, what do you have happen? Oh, you want me to zoom in? Is this shit too Here, let me zoom in, y'all. My bad. That look better. Sorry, I got an extra wide fucking screen monitor, and ever since then, my OBS has been really stupid. I could probably close it, I guess. Alright, was that zoomed in enough? For me, it looks zoomed in. I can't tell. Hopefully that's zoomed in enough for you guys. If not, I'll zoom in some more, I suppose. But once again, moving on to the next thing. If you guys didn't see today, every single time when GameStop, when these meme stops start to run, you just see glitches, halts, mass problems. New York Stock Exchange, technical trading glitch hits Berkshire Hathaway and other stocks. Hit gold. It hit Bank of Montreal. It did a whole bunch of stocks where they instantly dropped 99%. New York Stock Exchange like halted all this stuff, and this is my point. These guys are gonna. I mean, dude, this is just hilarious. Every time we run, their casino literally breaks. It's not meant for retail to do what it does. In algos, they're not. This is my point. These guys all whine about Keith Gill. They whine about everything we do when they have things called algorithms, which are literally made to manipulate the market. Your entire life and your company is built around algorithms. Citadel. Citadel is such a piece of shit. They have their own satellite dishes that are placed on top of skyscrapers closer to the exchanges so they can get an extra nanosecond ahead of you and front run your trades. Citadel has satellites on top of skyscrapers which allow them to front run better. This casino is rigged as fuck, and that's what I'm saying. What we need is something that outside of it, which is to me is this commercial real estate of 929 billion. We need people like Keith Gill to just keep going, keep going, keep going. We need all of us to keep going, keep going. This shit is a fucking Ponzi scheme. We know it's a Ponzi scheme. They know we know it's a Ponzi scheme. Our entire country is completely fucked over by these guys. Once again, the only way to fix our country is for these guys to lose and for them to take all of the trillions that they printed off and used COVID as an excuse to print and then funnel out of this country. We need this to happen so they can funnel those trillions right back to America and our country can get back on fucking track. Because like I said, guys, the banking mafia, the mafia that we have in government, the fact that politicians have hundreds of millions of dollars, every single fucking one of them, the fact that they're richer than the richest people in the world are pretty much politicians. It's like you have rich, you have elite rich, and then you got politician rich. And then after that, it's just billionaires. So, again, what are these fucking politicians doing? I know y'all. I'm sorry. I'm trying to fucking... I don't know if this helps. I got two going on here. Does that help, guys? Did that make the screen here? What the hell? Did that make the screen better for you? Worse? What are we talking here? Is this better? Not doing nothing. I'm about to just switch it over to my other fucking widescreen. Oh, you guys all here. Let me switch this shit. Let me switch it quick. See if this helps everybody. Let's display this one. Let's move it on over here. Let's go like this. All right, move OBS over. Let me pull this back up. All right, how about that? Is that better? Worse? Talk to me. Is that better? I know. I'm trying to help out the people on the phone. I switched it over to a non-widescreen. Did that fix it? We should be good. And hopefully this fixed it for you. I'm not seeing any yeses in the chat. Did that fix it? Alright, stretch, but it's eligible. Alright. Let me see if I can unstretch that. Is that better for you? Good grief. Hopefully that's better. I'll change it in a second. I have to ask, but I'm not fucking... I'll put fucking... Base canvas. Let me change my base canvas aspect ratio. Why won't it let me change it? It's because my base canvas aspect ratio right here is too big, and apparently I can't change it. Probably because I'm already on it. Oh, it's currently active. I'd have to shut it off to fix it. All right, guys. I will fix it for next time. I promise. This won't be on my stretched widescreen anymore. Everybody that can't read it on the iPad, we will fix it for next time. I have it pulled up. The second I hit end stream, I will fix it. It's right here. All right. Now, for people that can read. Hold on. You want me to zoom in? Hold on. I feel like I'm pretty zoomed in, man. Where the hell was I? I'm sorry, I'm all confused. Oh yeah, so now we're on. Oh yeah, we're on the technical glitch. All right, so that was all I had to say about that. I just was laughing that again. Anytime that we would go up or anything like that, we break the entire fucking system. So once again, I do want to show you guys this as well. That once, like I was just talking about with. Do I think it'll still end before next year? Yes, I still think that it will end before next year. I don't know how they handle this 929 billion in, like I said, this banking crisis, that commercial real estate that's about to happen. Now, if you guys look over here, talks about the bank, talks about all these banks, their assets, their values, everything that's attached to these commercial real estate, unrealized lot. Like I said, guys, this is insanity. But if you guys go ahead and look here, more than 280 U.S. banks with nearly 900 billion total assets are at a risk of needing capital because of high levels of commercial real estate and losses tied to interest rates. I have a 50-inch TV and it looks right. Well, I mean, apparently, like I said, I'll fix it next time. I can't fix it right now because of the... I'm just going to go like that. I can't fix it right now because the canvas... I can't change the canvas until after, but I'll fix it for next one. Again, yeah. So again, we have 280 banks that now need money. They need capital, or they're going to go insolvent. And you already have 63 that are at that point. So, like I said, guys, watch this commercial real estate bomb hit these guys. When this commercial real estate bomb hits, I don't know what they're going to do. It's $1 trillion coming at them. $1 trillion worth. Meanwhile, if you guys look at the national debt, it went up $70 billion today. In one day, we borrowed $70 billion. What the fuck do we do with that $70 billion? You're on a 65-inch TV and it's small? Well, I can't. Well, everybody says it's too damn stretched like this. And it does look like it on mine, too. Alright, y'all. I'm sorry. I have to do it this way for today. It will be fixed tomorrow. 1000%. I'll fix my canvas ratio tomorrow. You'll have to squint real hard. Just we're almost there. We're almost done, guys. Just squint for 5 more minutes. But yeah. Oh wait, this was my last slide, anyways. So, and then we'll just do questions. So, nothing else to see for this time. But I will fix my canvas ratio. I will make it very small next time so everyone can see on their phones. But again, so we borrowed $70 billion yesterday. We added to the national debt. And what the hell did we do with that? Nothing. We just shit it out our ass. So, again, these guys can't stop spending, which means rates are going to go higher, which means treasury bonds are going to go higher. The rates attached to those treasury bonds, which means banks are going to be, again, less and less necessary. So this is, everything is coming together, guys. Keith is just making it go a little quicker. So I just wanted to let everyone explain to everybody why E-Trade right now is so afraid of Keith, because once again, with this, you know, the lawsuit that got passed, This makes E-Trade liable if Citadel was using any of the shares, if all these people weren't hedging properly, if these people that sold them the contracts and everything weren't hedged properly for those contracts, the SEC is now tracking it. So again, there will be some problems for these guys. All right. Does anybody have any questions? Yes, I still think it'll end before next year. I don't think we'll need to get to 2025, especially if GameStop keeps smashing these guys by the billions. I mean, you see AMC runs with it. These guys are at baskets get together, and that's one of the problems. These basket prices are rising each time GameStop jumps up. Tons and tons and tons, and that's the thing. These guys are shorting the hell out of ETFs. So all this, like I said, all those ETFs that are attached in meme ETFs, all these things, they're shorting the hell out of those baskets. So there's more short interest on these than you guys know because they're shorting it through the ETFs as well. So you don't see that percentage. Well, you can go check out the short interest on it, but none of us, I mean, are like paying attention to those. Nobody's sitting there talking about all the short interest on all the ETFs stashed up. We should be, but nobody does. So Mario, thank you. I appreciate that, my friend. I always appreciate little diaper money for little man here. Can't like it. Thank you, my friend, though. Thank you. I always appreciate it. Question: what are the implications for brokers if they couldn't come up with the shares legally, and what could that mean for everyone who accounts with that broker? So if a broker does, you can see right here, if a broker, so let's say the investigation happens, they find that the broker sold them all these shares, they didn't hedge for those shares that were for Keith. Now that's why E-Trade's freaking out, because E-Trade's looking over, they go, well, fuck, we sold them all these contracts. Are these things hedged? Are they properly hedged for? And if they're not, and they can't do this, and we can't figure this out, guess what? They could be held liable once again. And if E-Trade's liable, Keith Gill can sue the fuck out of him. And for how big of a position he has, since his position is so massive in all these contracts, he could sue the fuck out of him. You know what I mean? He could sue him for a lot, not just like, oh, we're talking $1, $2, $3 million. We're talking millions and millions. His position worth how much he would have in that alone. He could times it by however much. So, man, I'm not gonna worry about it. I'll just switch. It's just my canvas size. I just gotta switch my canvas size. I'll do it right after. But at this point, we're just doing questions. I'm not gonna worry about my resolution right now, though. Any other questions at all? But yeah, E-Trade could get sued by them, and then again, if E-Trade gets sued, that leads to discovery, which means that they will now go look through that. They can see what market maker helped it, what the market maker did, how they manipulated it. So again, I'm pretty excited about what he pulled off here. He did it right in time for the cat. Like I said, the second that the CAT system went live with the customer information, now they can track exactly Keith's account. They can follow everything that has to do with him. So it'll get very, very interesting over these next couple weeks. Is there any other questions at all? Nancy Pelosi's portfolio is always doing well. I told you 2 weeks ago she was up $7 million already on the year. Nancy Pelosi has made over $7 million in illegal trading. Well, I guess it's not illegal, but Nancy Pelosi has made $7 million on insider information trading so far this year. Congratulations, Nancy. We're all really proud of you. How do you do it? I know. I don't know how people are still with Robinhood, man. I really wish people would get off it. I really do. And what they're doing right now is a lot of people are buying on Robinhood. They're buying overnight, and the stock's running up $36 overnight. And then they're halting it, shorting it down. They're stopping it to where all of a sudden it drops down to $21, $22. And now people that are in Robinhood that bought overnight, you're now bag holders right away. You need it to jump back up. And then, like I said, not saying it's not going to jump back up. I think it will definitely jump back up. But you see what I'm saying? they'll get you in at 30 quick. They'll get you at 35 in the overnight, 34 in the overnight. And then they'll drop it down to 21, and all of these people are suddenly discouraged. And there are people out there that are in retail that, you know, even for a perfect example, that dumbass Dave Portnoy, I think that's how you say his name. He bought GameStop and he bought it at $40, and then he sold it when it hit $20. Okay, so then the moron bought it again at $40 right at open, and now he's down again, and he's like crying about it. And it's like, dude, you're the perfect example. You're the perfect person I'm talking about. Most retail will go in there and they'll buy overnight, and they'll buy it at $36, $37. It'll go down the next day, and they'll be like, fuck, I missed it, because they're not patient enough to be like, oh, fuck, I need to just wait a little bit longer. No, there are actual people out there that take the loss, and it blows my fucking mind. David Portnoy was a perfect example. If he went to sold when it hit $20 like an idiot, it went back up. He could have sold this morning, right away this morning on his first position, but he didn't believe. He just freaked out and goes, oh, I fucking missed it. Fuck. See, so that's what I'm saying. Robinhood sucks you in with this overnight bullshit. They're trying to get you, because most people that don't know what they're doing are on Robinhood. So they're going, here's my suckers. Let me fuck them up in the overnight while it runs up, and then we'll have it short back down. Because notice what you got, most people aren't noticing is suddenly, right at open every time on the overnight, suddenly the bid's right back down and it flies down. So it's like, just be careful with that overnight buying. Like, just be careful with it. Like, everyone that's on Robinhood, you should already be off it, but just be careful with that overnight chasing the dragon. When the dragon's already been, when the dragon's taken flight, don't jump on his back. Fucking watch him fly away for a minute. You know what I mean? He'll come back home. And what you do is you don't chase the dragon and try and jump on when he's flying. You try and play him on the way when he's coming back home on his way back down. If you miss the run, what happens after a run? It's got to come back down. Sorry, I can't give financial advice. But instead of chasing the fucker when he's about to fly, because it's hard to get him when he's in midair. It's a lot easier to get him when he's landing. When he's landed on the ground. So, like I said, if you miss when it's fucking running, you can also get fucked trying to chase it if you don't do it right. Because if you do an overnight or you do a weekly and suddenly sits up there, like I said, there's plenty of risk both ways. But like I said, guys, I don't want to say what I want to say because people, there's smart ways to play options right now, but I can't give advice or people start crying at me. So how many shares does AMC have left to dilute? I honestly can't remember off the top of my head, dude. I'd have to go look. I don't remember how many we sold off the top of my head. I can't give you an exact number. I don't remember exactly how many shares we sold last time. They have a couple 100 million if I remember right still, at least. I can't remember right now. It's late. Too many numbers. But I don't see too many more questions. Oh wait, hold on. We knew they'd implement it, and it's not good for retail. All my shares are directly routed down Citadel. Yeah, I don't do anything with Robinhood. So when people tell me check out the overnight price, I can't. I don't look at Robinhood. I don't deal with that overnight shit. I'm not saying you can't make money in the overnight. The problem is with the overnight thing is they capped it at the 20%. So even if it jumps up to $3-4, jumps up to 20%, well, you're kind of screwed at that point. If it jumps up 10%, well, guess what? You're taking a risk because by the time it jumps up 10%, it can only go up to the 20% in the after hours. Otherwise, they'll start canceling your trade. So there's a very small amount that it could go up, but there's a chance at open it could go right back down. And since you only have that a small wiggle room, it could drop that 5% in a matter of seconds. So you got to look at risk to reward in the overnight. That's all I'm saying. Like, do the math part. If it jumped, like I said, you got, remember, 20% max. So always take the percent that it's jumped up. Know what you got left to possibly gain at max. Plenty of ways to look at trades. GameStop right now is at 31.40 in the overnight. Let's go. That's what's up. Well, yeah, I mean, I got all these fucking nutcase fucking retail crybabies. I'm gonna sue you because But then the people that like I said, for that Coinbase trade, for example, I had tons of people make thousands and thousands and thousands on that Coinbase trade. It went up $112 a share. If you listen to me on that Coinbase trade, you went up $112 a share. You're pretty happy right now. But none of them want, I'm not, those guys, like I said, it's like, that's the thing. It's like, I want to help people, but then all of a sudden you get the 5 crybabies, that little, like Ethan, who like literally tries to sue you and stuff. Like, dude, first of all, I'm going to kick the shit out of you in court. That would be hilarious, dude. And then I put your ass right back in Riker for harassment, smearing my name, all that good stuff, dude. Oh, defamation. We would get you good. We'd get you good and gone, buddy. Put you right back in that Rikers. But all right, guys, I'm going to get going here. I'll try and stream again tomorrow, though. Maybe jump on with somebody. There's a couple people I want to do a video with that I've been talking to, so. But thank you guys for listening. I know this was a late one. It's almost midnight here, so have a good day, everybody. Bigum, stop acting too famous and answer my question. Hold on, what was your question? Hold on. Thoughts on SPY short squeeze? Thoughts on SPY short squeeze? Do I think there'll be a short squeeze on the SPY? I mean, I don't think so, because the stocks that I think would run up for these downs aren't gonna outweigh all the stocks that are gonna crash in it. So no, I would say there would be no SPY squeeze at that point. I think there's too many in there that would outweigh the ones that are gonna run. So no, I don't think there'll be a SPY squeeze. Acting like a big shot, I just answered your question. My answer is absolutely not. I don't think there will be a SPY squeeze. Even if these meme stocks run. After showing you the liquidity and everything drying up, all these assets, I think all these other stocks are going to go down too much. So no, I do not believe you'll have a SPY squeeze, my friend. Yeah, like I said, I'm not seeing a SPY squeeze at all. But all right, guys, good night. Thank you. Have sweet dreams. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow.